Latinos for Trump founder regrets it. This is not what we voted for. Yeah, okay. As an Afro-Latino myself, okay, we about to have a real-life conversation about the coonery that happens in the Hispanic community. As a Hispanic myself, let's have this conversation.
I will vote for Donald Trump. ¿Qué?
He said, ¿qué? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I is no criminal.
Crazy.
Oh my goodness. So we've all seen, as far as the inhumane ICE immigration crackdown that's going on, you know, they just taking everybody, citizen, illegal immigrant, doesn't matter. They just harassing everybody. Now, one thing I am proud to report on is that there is one person, one brave woman who is in the Republican Party and is standing up against this inhumane treatment of people, bro, of people. And that her name is Ileana Garcia, okay? And I just want, what?
Hi, I'm Ileana Garcia, and I founded Latinos for Trump on the premise of how important it was for me to convey to the rest of the world that there are a lot of Latinos and Latinas supporting Donald J. Trump.
Which doesn't make any sense to me. Look, if you are somebody who is Hispanic and you're for your people, your Hispanic people, then why would you vote against the interest of Hispanic people by being pro-Trump and rallying for him when it was time for his presidency campaign? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. But the issue with a lot of Hispanics, and as somebody who is Hispanic, as somebody who is Afro-Latino, soy de Honduras, right? I was born here in America. I'm Brooklyn. I'm a Brooklyn kid to the core. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, my parents are from Honduras. Better yet, my parents are Garifuna. If you know anything about Garifuna, you know that we are one of the few groups in the world who can say that they fought off the British and the French and were never enslaved. Okay, my lineage was never enslaved. We fought in St. Vincent and we held it down for centuries against the French and against the British who wanted to colonize us. Okay, so that's part of the reason why we hold on to our African lineage and bloodline. We don't deny it whatsoever, the way a lot of Hispanic communities do, whether they're Dominicans saying, I know black, or Brazil, you know, literally financially incentivizing people to marry and interbreed with Europeans so that they could lighten the race. You know what I mean? Shit like that. Or Trujillo in DR, who wanted to lighten the race, which is why there's a whole term called mejorando la raza, which is basically bettering the race, which means lighten the race, make it lighter. There's very much an anti-black sentiment within the Hispanic community, okay? And they think that their proximity to whiteness equates to them being white, and it is far from the reality of things. My thing is, how do you side with the colonizer? You know, how do you side with the people? You have these people who are obviously black. They have black heritage within them. They have black ancestry in their DNA, but they deny it. They'll have hair just as kinky as mine. They'll have skin color as mine or darker, and then deny their blackness, essentially. I'll never understand that concept, bro. It's a lot of self-hate. You know what I mean? It's a lot of anti-black sentiment within the Hispanic community, and so they try to align themselves with white people as much as they can. And now it's come back to bite them in the ass because you see what's going on with ICE and Trump's administration and everything that's happening now. So don't you think it would have been wise of you to have sided with the people who look like you, the Hispanic people who look like you? Because I think it was, 54% of Hispanics voted for Trump, 49 or 54%, one of the two? That's a large percentage. That's half of the votes. That's half of the Hispanic votes right there, all for Trump. Very interesting.
Latinas supporting Donald J. Trump.
Well, this is awkward. This is what you voted for, boo-boo. What are we talking about? You had a whole campaign, freaking Latinos for Trump. What are we talking about?
Crazy.
Now, the comedy is she's coming out talking about, you know what, they've gone too far. They're going to lose the midterms. You know what? I'm scared now for my son being pulled over. That right there, That right there, bruh. Okay, it's the same thing we saw with Marjorie Taylor Greene, where she's talking about, well, my sons won't be able to get a house. That right there, bruh. That's, ooh.
Should have thought about
These
that.
people, and I pray, okay, if you're an atheist, I would hope that you just are temporarily a person of faith, that we can both be in agreement that there is a hell for these people, that there is a special place in hell for these people. Because this is what I've talked about countless times, that these people don't care. They don't care until it impacts them. Unfortunately, that's most of Americans. Nobody cares until it impacts you. It comes at your doorstep. So while all these people were getting round up, while American citizens were being detained, okay, for no reason other than they suspect that you may not be here legally, when all that was going on, this woman didn't care, okay? She had Latinos for Trump, had no qualms about it. But now she's talking about, I'm afraid my son may get arrested or my son may be detained. Now she wants to come up and talk about, oh, this is horrible. Now you want to say something.
Come on now, dog.
Over the course of
man.
the last weekend or so, when Petty was deceased, now you want to talk about, oh, they've gone too far and yada, yada, yada. What? Huh? What you talking about? They've gone too far.
They were already going too far. They were already going too far, but you did not seem to care. You didn't seem to give a solitary fuck because it wasn't specifically affecting you. It wasn't knocking directly at your door. And so because it wasn't directly affecting you, you paid no mind. You turned a blind eye. And now the chickens have come home to roost. And now you're feeling the repercussions of your decisions. You're feeling the consequences of your actions. Welcome. Welcome to what we've been telling you for the longest. Black people, when I say we've been telling you for the longest, okay, that law enforcement tends to abuse their power. And ICE is just the most exaggerated example of law enforcement abusing their power. And you're seeing it. You're seeing it. We're all seeing it for ourselves. Alex Preddy, I believe his name was. I don't want to, rest in peace. I don't want to mispronounce his name. You have Renee Good. You have Keith Porter. There we go. There we go, right? The things that we tried to warn you all about. But black people are crazy. They just be chatting. They don't know what they talking about. Y'all be sucking white meat. Like, dead ass, bro. Like, y'all suck white America meat off the bone, bro. You feel me? Anything to not be associated with the black community. I know black. No soy negro. Yo, no soy negro. Right? That sentiment. It's a real thing, bro. It's a real life thing. They suck white meat to the fucking bone, bro. To ain't nothing left as long as they're not associated with blackness. They come here from other countries. They immigrate from other countries and assimilate to white American culture, which white American culture for the longest has been looking down on black people. Not only black Americans, especially black Americans, but black people as a whole. Other black immigrants who come here, who want to side with a white America mindset, who want to assimilate to white American sentiments while looking like me, if not darker. That shit is crazy to me. That don't make no type of sense to me. I will forever be pro-black, okay? I don't care if you're African-American, if you're Caribbean, if you're African, Afro-Latino. I don't care. I am pro-black. I am pro-kinfolk, you know what I mean? The skinfolk, kinfolk type vibe. Like, and that's not including the coons. The coons can stay over there. I'm talking about the real rights, all right? And it's like I said, bro, I'm Garifuna, soy Garifuna. I come from lineage that fought the French and the British and gave them hell until they had no choice but to exile us once they realized they couldn't do nothing with us, okay? They couldn't colonize us. They couldn't control us. You feel me? They tried their very best. 7 different times they attempted to take over St. Vincent and they could not succeed. I look at that history. I look at the history of the Garifuna and I think to myself, if we hadn't fought the French and the British off for 150 plus years, they would have done the same thing to my people that they did to all of the people around the world who look like me. They would have been lynching us the same way they lynched African Americans in the United States. They would have been throwing our babies to alligators and feeding them to alligators the same way they did to the Black Americans in the United States. They would have been boiling black bodies in sugar, boiling sugar the same way they did in Jamaica. They would have been buck breaking my ancestors the same way they did in Jamaica. So don't ask me why I'm so pro-black. Even though my specific lineage was never enslaved, we fought these European colonizers to the fucking end, until there was only about 2,500 of us left when they exiled us to Roatan, Honduras. Okay? So even though I'm Hispanic, so Latino, and I don't denounce it at all. I'm black as fuck. But a lot of Hispanics don't share that same sentiment. They think that because they speak the Spanish tongue, they think because they speak their colonizer's tongue, you feel me? And that their race has been lightened due to multiple different reasons. That their proximity to whiteness makes them white. And now they're realizing with MAGA and Trump and ICE and all that, that is not the case.
This is the type of bull crap. These are the type of people that do not need to be anywhere near a position of power because they are political whores. They are power whores. That's what they are. They don't have a problem, grabbing their ankles if they mean they can get a little bit of a kickback.
He's out of line, but he's right.
And then the funny part is it gets even worse because it gets like this catty, pettiness because she talks about, blaming Stephen Miller. Now, what we also have to understand is that she got into it with Stephen Miller's wife because Stephen Miller's wife was like, she got fired, because she wasn't doing her job. Ileana Garcia was like, well, how about we talk about that and how you called your husband a racist, all right? And what's really going on in the last administration. Oh. And I'm like, bro, this is par for the course. This is par for the course. Stephen Miller's wife or girlfriend at that time calling him a racist. Yeah, I'm not surprised. I'm not shocked because that's what these people are. You'll have, a step and fetch it, Sambo soldier that'll be with the racists if it means that they get a glance at power or they get close to power.
Yep.
You have these.
They'll tap dance real quick.
People who are forego their integrity, their principles or morals or scruples, and for what? A paycheck. Beta. Or to be on the spotlight, or to be next to someone who has power. They'll never have power themselves, but they like that feeling that it gives them. And when it comes to Ileana Garcia, I hope her son does get detained. All right. I don't mean any ill will, but yes, I hope her son does get detained by ICE because he's a little too brown, right?
But see, look at that picture. Listen, I, as somebody who grew up in New York City, which is a melting pot of races and ethnicities and cultures, I can tell that this is a Hispanic family. I can tell. I grew up around Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, Ecuadorians, Mexicans, El Salvadorians, etc. I grew up around them all my whole life. I myself am Honduran. Soy hondureño. Okay? So I can tell a Hispanic person apart from a white person. But if you didn't have that eye, if you could not tell, you would see these two individuals and you would assume that they are European white people. If you didn't know any better, they can blend in with white people because of their proximity to whiteness. But what they fail to realize is your native tongue is not white, okay? Your ethnicity is not white. And when it comes down to it, you will be utilized as nothing more than a political token in order for them to become whatever they're trying to become, president, governor, whatever they're trying to get, whatever they're trying to achieve, you will be used as a token. And once that token is spent, you will finally realize what you mean to these people. Nothing. Okay? You hold zero value in the eyes of the oppressor.
God forbid he starts speaking Spanish. This is what she voted for. What these people voted for is exactly what all the other Latinos, all the other Cubans, because she's Cuban, and from what I've seen from the exit polls, it was mostly the Cubanos, okay, you mofos, who voted for him. All these Latinos, y'all the one voted for this. And now y'all want to start crying and talking about this is not what I thought it was supposed to be. La familia, I know criminal.
A wave of disappointment. One of President Donald Trump's most loyal voting blocs, Cuban and Venezuelan immigrants.
Look
Now
at this.
speaking out
Look
in
at the clown
Miami,
shit.
a Republican stronghold.
Look at the circus in that.
No, this is what you voted for. And this is what she got her people to vote for.
Yep.
You got your people to vote for their freaking harassment. You got your people to engage in this foolishness. And now you want to come out talking about, oh, what about my son? What about me, hijo? What? Huh? Make it make sense. So screw everybody else, but until it impacts your son, that's when it's too much. That's when it's a problem. Yeah, these people are demonic. These people are demonic. Yeah. I hope ICE does get her son. And hopefully he has his papers. And I hope he complies. Because we see what they've done to white people that they believe aren't complying. So best believe what they'll do to your little brown boy if they think he's not complying.
Yep.
That's what needs to happen to these people. They need to get a taste of what they actually voted for.
Damn.
Because people just think, oh, I'm just gonna put in the ballot and, mum's a word. No, you need to experience what you voted for. Because you need to understand that these votes, they have consequences. And they need to understand, more importantly, that those consequences can negatively impact your life as well. Because I know many people vote out of fear in many cases where, oh, I don't want this to happen to me, or I want that to happen to me, or I want this to happen to that person, or I want this to happen to that group. And that's how you get played. And, honestly, the only people who are being played right now are the American people. We're being played. So I just want this to be a lesson to everyone moving forward. Anyways, guys, that's the video. Let me know what you guys think, whether or not you believe Lucas, I don't know. What are you, if you are a Latino, bruh, whether you Cuban, Dominican, Puerto Rican, whatever, and you still believe that this administration is doing a good old job, you're gone, bro. You're cooked. You're fried. You're deep fried.
Delusional.
Okay? Finito. Dunzo. Adios, amigo. There's no way in reaching those people. For the rest of us, obviously, this is foolishness. And this is obviously what many of us with an IQ above room temperature, we're trying to warn you. But now it's here, and y'all want to cop please. There ain't no please to cop.
Yeah. This is, unfortunately, what people voted for. Black people did not vote for Trump. Okay, it was about 10%. So even the black conservatives, they didn't really make much of a dent when it came for Trump to become the president of the United States, okay? It was primarily white votes, Asian votes, and Hispanic votes that got him elected, okay? And like I said, your proximity to whiteness does not make you white. I don't care if you think that because you have blue eyes and light skin that you are white, okay? That just means somebody in your ancestry either willingly or unwillingly mated with Europeans. That's all that means, okay? That's it, okay? We have the Spanish who went around the world and colonized and raped and pillaged, okay? So don't forget history. One thing these people have to do is learn history. When you learn history, everything starts to make sense. I don't understand why there's this deep ingrained anti-black sentiment within the Hispanic community to where they ally with white people, even when it goes completely against their interests, their own self-interest. It's a sickness. It's a mental sickness. You want to be white so bad. Like crazy. It's crazy. And even if you, let's say you don't, you are proud of your Hispanic heritage. You're proud of it. You're soy Latino. You're proud of it. Cool. You still will say anything, not all, but a lot, will still say anything that removes them from being grouped in with black people. They want to be closer to white people than to black people. You feel me? You get what I'm saying? So when black people go around telling you, hey, Black Americans have been dealing with the oppressor in this country for 400 years. Black Americans have been telling you for the longest how corrupt the American government can actually be. And all people seem to do is think that black people are crazy. What are they talking about? Or you do believe us. You don't think we're crazy. You do actually believe us. But since it doesn't directly affect you, you don't give a fuck. Well, like I said, You voted for this man, now the chickens have come home to roost, and now you got to deal with the consequences of your decisions. That's all I got to say, guys. Let's have a real life discussion down in the comments below. Please let me know. I know why there's a lot of anti-black sentiment in the Hispanic community, but I want to hear y'all opinion, you know? I want to hear what you guys think. I want to hear what you guys have to say. So please feel free to drop comments down below in the comment section. Let's have a real life discussion. Let's have real life discourse about these topics. Okay? With that being said, I will see you guys on the next video. Peace.